The Central California Valley provides a hungry nation with more than 230 crops and a large percentage of the needed food supply to feed America. Among the fields is one of California's high-security prison facilities, which is located in the southern end of the valley, Kern Valley State Prison. It holds some of California's most dangerous offenders and was designed to be California's first programmed Level 4 institution. We'll see if these inmates are getting the needed rehabilitation. Let's get into it. Delano, California is located 31 miles north of Bakersfield in the Central Valley, which is a popular place for California to build its prisons, given the rural area. There are 5 state prisons in Kern County alone. Delano is the northernmost and second most populous city in Kern County. Agriculture is of course the most important industry in the city, with the area being well known for the growing of delicious table grapes. The largest employers in the city are their 2 large prisons, Kern Valley and North Kern. As we have seen many times before, the city would see hard times if the prisons were to close. The climate is hot and dry in the summers and cool and damp in the winter, with thick ground fog often forming called tool fog. With a population just over 51,000, Delano saw a slight decline in its population since 2010. Like many cities in the West, they were settled as a result of a train route, and Delano is no different. It was founded on July 14, 1869, and at that time was the end stop of the Southern Pacific Railroad from San Francisco. The city was named after Columbus Delano, who was the Secretary of Interior from 1870 to 1875. The city became the northern terminus for passenger trains running south to Bakersfield and Los Angeles. There have been several significant earthquakes in the area. In fact, Delano is noted to have earthquake activity that is significantly higher than the rest of California. On June 28, 1992, a 7.3 magnitude quake struck the city, causing $100 million in damage. Hopefully now you have an idea of the area surrounding the prison. We'll now cover some prison facts and figures. Governor Gray Davis approved the building of a new prison and legislation signed in 1999. Right from the beginning, the prison was fraught with controversy. Lawsuits were filed by Critical Resistance, an anti-prison group. They said, "We continue to say that this is a prison that California doesn't need, Californians don't want, and California can't afford." The state of California won the battle and construction began in 2002. It would cost California taxpayers $379 million. At the time, they planned on an annual budget for the prison of approximately $136 million. Kern Valley State Prison is located on 600 acres in Kern County. It began to accept prisoners in June 2005. It is the last high-security prison to be built in California. This was the first prison in California to be planned with programming being a main priority. The idea was that 6.5 hours of daily training and education programs were going to be required by each inmate. At the time of completion, the prison system in California was vastly overcrowded, with prison manager George Galeza saying, "It will relieve some of the congestion." The prison is located a half-mile from North Kern State Prison, a medium security institution. Kern Valley has 4 semi-autonomous units labeled Facility A through D. There are also 2 administrative segregation units with 100 cells per building. As of September 2022, Kern Valley was housing 2,463 high-security Level 4 offenders, down from over 3,000 to start the year. There are also 41 Level 1 offenders in a medium-security satellite camp, and 96 in the restricted housing section. In total, the facility was holding 2,617 at last population report. There are approximately 1,200 staff working at the facility to supervise these inmates. Kern Valley is operating on a $232 million yearly budget. Before getting into some notable incidents at the prison, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any new content. Prior to COVID-19, Daryl Richmond was just another inmate at Kern Valley State Prison. He was serving 19 years for a robbery conviction. Richmond had decided that he wasn't going to reform. He and several co-defendants ran, according to federal prosecutors, a scheme to submit millions of dollars in fraudulent unemployment insurance claims to the California Employment Development Department during the COVID-19 pandemic. While the entire scheme attempted to submit $25 million worth of claims, a whopping $5.5 million was actually paid out. He was sentenced to over 5 years in federal prison to be served once his California sentence was completed. The court found that Richmond was solely responsible for $1.4 million, quite a hefty sum. How an incarcerated inmate can do this leaves many unanswered questions. Drone technology has made its way to Kern Valley State Prison, but this isn't the state of California using it to make the facility safer. In June 2021, a Phantom 4 Pro V2 crashed inside the facility after staff observed it drop a package. The package contained 2 cell phones and 2 Bluetooth earbuds. This drone is nothing sophisticated and can be purchased for a few $1,000s. We'll see what response California has to these incidents in the future. On the prison yard at Kern Valley, it was likely just another day of recreation and outside activities, until Anthony Ramirez and Michael Caldera approached and attacked Sidney Kang. Kang received stab wounds from a manufactured weapon or shank. He would not survive. Kang was at the prison serving a 14-year sentence for assault. Caldera had terrorized the San Bernardino area, committing a series of armed robberies at Wachovia banks and other stores in Upland, Fontana, and Montclair. He was serving a 71-year sentence. Ramirez was a convicted murderer and also had additional assaults in prison. Not long after this attack, another one occurred, also by 2 inmates, in June 2022, that left 1 inmate dead. Hector Jimenez was attacked and killed by Adrian Garola and Esteban Ceja. The pair attacked Jimenez in the day room floor with a shank at 7:18 p.m. By 7:27, he was pronounced deceased. The trio had each committed gang violence to land them at Kern Valley, including murder. The alleged attackers also had additional convictions while in prison for assault and weapons possession. It's hard to believe that these 4 men were once members of society. I'm not sure they deserve any more chances to live with the law-abiding public. These are just a couple of examples of the violence that occurs here. While I didn't find too many infamous inmates housed here, a name you may remember is Juan Manuel Alvarez. January 16, 2005 at 6:03 a.m., a Metrolink commuter train collided with a car sitting on the tracks. The car was smashed by the train, resulting in the train derailing. The horrible scene resulted in the death of 11 people, with an astounding 177 additional people being injured. Alvarez drove onto the tracks hoping to kill himself, but changed his mind at the last second and exited the car, leaving it there. The prosecutor attempted to seek the death penalty against Alvarez by applying a law from 1873, making train wrecking causing death a capital offense. This law was intended to be used to prosecute Old West train robbers, who would blow up the tracks and steal the loot. In the end, Alvarez was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Once a promising football player with the world within his grasp, Lawrence Phillips would take his own life at Kern Valley State Prison. He was highly recruited out of high school and landed at the University of Nebraska. Following a celebrated college career, he was drafted in 1996 by the St. Louis Rams with the 6th pick. Unfortunately, he would not live up to the hype, and after inconsistent performance and legal troubles, he was released by the team. He would end up with a 31-year sentence for assault and would arrive at Kern Valley in 2008. In 2015, his cellmate would be murdered and Phelps was charged. But prior to a trial, he would take his own life. This was a very sad story for someone who once had a bright future. Kern Valley State Prison is a much lesser known level 4 facility than others such as Corcoran or San Quentin. The facility is operated on the premise that programming should be required of the offenders here. Violence is unfortunately a regular occurrence whether in the recreation yard or the day room. It seems that there may be always someone waiting to take your life. Will the programming help these men return to society? Maybe, but hopefully it will also help to curb the violence inside the prison. Let me know in the comments if you think the programming is beneficial to the inmates here. Be sure to check out my other videos in my California State Prison series. As always, see you next time.